This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
This is a Find the Edge production of the National Counties Cricket Show. If you haven't already, hit follow or subscribe or whatever you need to do to ensure all new episodes appear automatically in your podcast player. So welcome everybody to the National Counties Cricket Show, and once again as we enter the new year we're going to do what we did this time last year, and it's nice to be able to say we can do the same again. We're talking to a couple of our ladies who've been out in Spain last month, just a couple of weeks ago now, winning, or should I say retaining, the European Cricket Championship. So joining us today, we've got 2 of the newbies, which is what we did with the lads a couple of months ago as well. I said last time we were bored with Dan Lincoln, so we went with someone new. You know, Kiara, if you're listening, I'm not saying we're bored with you, but we'll go with somebody who's got a first look on this one. We've got the MVP from the whole of the tournament. If we'd have said that beforehand, I think she might have even been a bit surprised herself. But Tilly Kesteven, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Great to see you, Tilly. And we might as well get another leading lady with us. We've got the leading wicket taker, Caitl Belcher. How are you doing down there?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good to be on.
Yeah, good to speak to you both. And, you know, we spoke before you went away. And it's fair to say it was going to be something new, fresh, different, etc. All of those words for you two ladies going out to Spain. That first game against the Netherlands, Sunday morning, early doors. Tilly, just in your own words, what were your first thoughts when you went out onto the Carter Rover and saw what was cracking off there?
I think I was a bit nervous going out because we first game in the morning, quite early.
Yeah.
We'd already had an early start, left hotel at 7:30, I think. And then like the great setup there, it was great to see all the setup they had there. And I think I was opening and I didn't go very well in the first game. I got a duck, but yeah, it was different because it's adapting to the T10 and then also the conditions that they had, like the artificial pitch. So yeah, I was bit nervous going out.
Caitlin, yourself as a bowler, something a bit different, that artificial pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the first game I didn't actually bowl, but then we were a bit worried about my spikes. So, well, Logie put in the group chat, like, oh, get these, like, were they like green, like hockey kind of spikes? So I ordered them off Amazon, put them in, and they were so sharp and slippy, and I was thinking, like, I'm going to go everywhere. I didn't bowl first game. And then when I did bowl second game, yeah, it was quite slippy. I had to change my shoes after that. It's just completely different, really, especially running in when you hit like grass to Astro, like especially first up, like it did throw me a little bit, like it feels completely different.
And you do have that balance, don't you, as you say, between grass and Astro, particularly as a bowler, on the first match and even the second match to a certain extent where the dew's still there. It's a little bit damp. You're almost running on with almost like a pair of ice skates to a certain extent onto that Astro, and you do see it from some of the girls, don't you?
Yeah, and I think it's hard as well, like in your head, to kind of put that aside and not think, oh my God, I'm going to slip, because then it starts going out the window. And I think in the first game or whatever I bowled a full toss and you think, oh my God, like I'm slipping everywhere, and just trying to like put it out your head and just bowl.
Yeah, and I think what was interesting in the correct me if I'm wrong, we put the Netherlands into bat, and the captain herself, Kiara, took 3 wickets, got things going for us. When they scored 96, 97, were you girls then thinking, that's something we could just go and get with our eyes closed, Tilly, or were you thinking, as a newbie, we've got to keep an eye on this?
Yeah, I think like when we were fielding, and then, because I didn't know how to go about it. So I was watching how the Netherlands were batting, and then I think the first over they hit a six, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you've literally just got to go from ball one, just look for boundaries. And the girls had sort of said that had been here before. They were literally like, no boundary options, just sort of back yourself, just sort of go for it. So I was like, actually, like night whatever they got, it's like doable. Like the boundaries will come. The boundaries aren't overly sized. Like they'll come easy. So yeah, I was like, we've got this. Like we can do it. And then when I went and batted, I think I faced one ball, hit it, and then next one I was out. So I was like, oh.
I'm not going to say anything other than the following. I did help Vinny with some information on all of you lot before you went out there, as I do with all the England teams that go out and with the club teams who will be out there in February. And we bigged you up a little bit, Tilly. And after that first game, I was banging my head against the wall saying, no, but it all came good. That's all that counts, isn't it?
Yeah, at least it was like started from low and then I got better. At least it wasn't the other way around.
Yeah, that's exactly what Johnny Connell said, funnily enough, with the England lads. And I think the difficulty is it's just something that you girls don't play on, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll ask you, Caitl, when was the last time you bowled on an Astro full stop?
Oh, I genuinely couldn't tell you. Probably never, to be honest with you.
And Tilly, last time you batted on an Astro?
Yeah, because it's like even when we train indoors, it's different. Like surface you get indoors is different to Astro, like, and even nets outside these. Because I think it's like a sheet that they unroll. It's not an actual Astro in the ground.
Yeah,
It's just it's different. Like it's weird.
it is, and I think it did shine through in that first game that it was the more experienced players got it straight away. Kiara with the bowling, Ria with a bat. Ria just dominated when she came in that first game, and she scored 41 off 17 balls. That to me just showed that it's always the same. It's the newbies as such. It just takes that little bit of time to get used to it. But I'm sure after that first game, Caitlin, the squad were looking at it going, okay, we've got this. We've had a look now. We know what's coming next.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of talk about obviously that last year they faced Netherlands in the final. So then to like go out and put in a performance against them, I think it settled a few nerves, especially like with myself and I presume Tilly as well, that like we were on for a good competition hopefully and like wanted to carry it forward.
Yeah, and I think you say you did well in that first game. Netherlands scored 96. You ladies got it in 7.2 overs. And I must admit, watching from afar here, and the messages were going back and forth with one or two people I know around the European cricket circuit. And it's like, actually, these girls have got it again. But we all had that question along the way that there's going to be a loss at some point. There always has to be a loss. It's the law that you have to lose a game at some point. But you otherwise went through the group relatively well, I think, both of you.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like when one of us didn't perform, someone else in the team did. And yeah, I think like we were the best team there. It was just about proving it and showing it each day.
Yeah, I mean, you were the best team there without a shadow in a number of ways. But from your own point of view, looking outside in, Caitlin, if you were to be able to put yourself on the outside of the whole sort of circus that is European cricket, what do you think is the biggest difference between the England women's 11 versus the rest?
It's a hard one. I think probably just the volume that we get over in England, like especially like say with our counties, like academy setups, like we're training multiple times a week, whereas obviously I think like with the other teams, not necessarily that volume of cricket.
Yeah, and I think picking up on what Tilly said, the squad was so deep in terms of talent, Tilly, that as you say, if one didn't perform, yourself in the first game, there was somebody else who could come in and do it, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
From a batting perspective, Tilly, you're a hard-hitting batter, full stop. But did you find after that first game that you just had to change something that you did when you went in that second time round?
Yeah, I think like I wasn't overly happy with how I batted the second time either. I think I got like a runner ball 19 or something. But I sort of, it's not like you're not valuing your wicket because you are. It's sort of the fact of not worrying if you get an out because you know that people will come in. And it's like sometimes in a one-day game, if it's something's not working for you, you sort of just have to grit and get on with it and find something that works.
Yeah.
Because you've got a long time to bat. And if you're struggling, the next person's probably also going to struggle. But in T10, you don't really have that time. So if you're struggling, you've got to adapt straight away because the person who will come in next sort of might have a different view on it. And you've just sort of got to work quickly because of the limited time you've got. So I think it's just about adapting quickly and having a set plan as you're going because you don't really have time to think about it while you're out batting.
It's interesting that next game, as you say, was the Scotland game, and you're right. You scored 19 at a run of ball. I'm sure you girls were very disappointed to close those 10 overs off at 77 for 7. In terms of European cricket scores, 77 is a very gettable one. But then the bowling squad, led by you up front there, Caitlin, it all came together, didn't it? And 3 for 8 in your first bowling session on European cricket, that it couldn't have gone better, could it?
No, I was really, really happy. I think going into it, I was quite nervous. Obviously, like I said, I hadn't bowled on Astra, and like we knew that the likes of say Darcy Carter, like some big Scottish names are in that lineup. So yeah, to go and put in a performance for the team was really great.
It is, but when you've got them 5 for 3, it doesn't matter whether it's T20, whether it's one-day cricket, Test match, or T10. When you've got a team 5 for 3, you've got them in trouble, full stop. And to defend 77 as comfortably as you did in the end, that was the irony, wasn't it? It was really, really comfortable, I think, Caitlin.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I think with the 77, like you said, it is not as high as other scores, so then to go out there and keep it was really great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was that one of the first games that we saw a catch from one of you lot that everyone on European cricket went, oh wow, hang on a minute. Was that one of your catches, Tilly?
I think Caitlin got the first like screamer in the first game.
The running over backwards over her head.
Backward point, yeah. I think you got it then. I think that sort of set our standards high. Like our fielding was like really good throughout the week, but from the first game, like we started so well. Like it could have quite easily been like first game not switched on. But I think like our energy in the first game was great, and it's like from the catches we took, it sort of showed through that.
And I think that goes back to what you were both saying earlier, not only the depth of the squad, but the amount of training, the amount of practice that you guys put into this year in, year out. That fielding standard just shows up, doesn't it, Caitlin?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we like said going forward, like we wanted to set the standard in the field. And I think like we said, like obviously it was me that had that catch first, but then throughout the whole competition, like Tilly took a screamer, Lammy, like Jazz one-handed, like they just kept coming. I think in a competition like that to like field the way we did was arguably one of the reasons why we did so well.
I've got to ask, off the pitch, you girls would have been having fun with the other teams as well. I mean, one of the things the European cricket circuit's really well known for now is that camaraderie behind the scenes is just phenomenal, because you're all in the same hotel to start with, aren't you? Was there conversations going on between you and other teams about the quality of the fielding and stuff like that?
I think there was like little conversations, like a few of us knew some of the other girls, so like naturally we were speaking to them, and then like you said, being in the hotel, we were passing the other teams and speaking to them at like breakfast and dinner time and stuff. So it's like, so they might have said a comment like, oh my god, that catch you took was amazing, and just like little passing comments when you saw them. Like
but I've got to go through the group very quickly, but it's important to talk about game 3, I think, which was the Ireland game where, let's be honest, Tilly, you decided, okay, I've got this now. You decided 71 off 29 balls was a proper European cricket innings. Did it just feel as though, hang on, it's clicked, here we go?
Yeah, I think like some of the girls joked and said third time lucky. But yeah, I sort of went out with a clear plan of like, right, my boundary options are here, whatever. Like
what were they? What were those options in your head when you went out for that game?
For me, it's like straight, just sending the ball back over the bowler's head, over long on. And then if they've obviously got long on and long off out, it's either backing myself to just hit it over them or actually looking behind and like scooping it or whatever. Yeah, I was having the clear plans and just being like, right, I can take it on. I'd had a look at some of the Irish bowlers from their games, so like knowing what you're going to get. And yeah, just sort of taking it on really.
Which of those bowlers from the Irish team had you targeted? I'm presuming you'd actually gone down that route of almost having matchups, then going, that's the one I want, and I know when I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think did they have the leggy? I think with her it wasn't turning a great deal. It was quite slow and flighted. So I was like, right, I'm just going to come down. I think spinning into me is like, as long as I got close to the line of the ball, like I could just go back overhead. And then with the pace bowlers, I think she bowled it a bit fuller. So I sort of took a step back or got deeper into my crease and sort of just got it on the half volley. Or like that's fun to do.
Was there anyone in that Irish squad, though, that you went, do you know what, that's someone we've got to watch in particular?
There was a girl who was a bit quicker, and I think she bowled it back for length. I can't remember what her name was. I think she opened up first change or something.
Laura McBride?
It could have been. And it was sort of like, right, if you target the over before or other bowlers, you sort of respect her or get the twos or push the ones to twos and sort of try and get your boundaries where you can, but cash in on the other bowlers.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I picked up from the tournament as a whole, and I'll ask you about this, Caitlin, in particular, I think we're going to big her up now, okay? The skipper's pretty decent, isn't she? You know, not just as a bowler, but Kiara, I think, is like Dan in the lads squad. She's a phenomenal skipper in terms of how she rotates the bowlers, but more importantly, puts the right bowlers on at the right time. And I think that's what I saw was so different amongst our England squad versus, for example, the Irish squad. You know, Jennifer Jackson bowled 1 over against you girls and got taken for 5 runs. Now, automatically for me, if somebody's only been taken for 5, you put them straight back on. Yeah, and Kiara would have done that. I think you bowled 2 overs back to back most of the time, Caitlin, didn't you? It was like, bang, got it now, taking some wickets, carry on. Do you think that sort of thinking as a skipper made a big difference?
Yeah, I think Kay, like you said, like one amazing player, but two, she's got that like awareness of the game, and especially I think within the T10, like it showed that she's played it and she understands it. I think like with myself, like you said, often bowled like 2 back to back. And then I think there was one game we thought, oh, well, I'll like bowl one at the start and one at the end. And I don't think it worked as well. So then we went back to what went well. So I think that just showed through like her awareness and like knowing the bowlers. I think maybe first game, not so. Like we had a lot of newbies, like not necessarily knowing who should bowl at who. And I think especially playing each team twice within, like by the time we played them again, we kind of were aware of matchups and like also what kind of length and line we wanted to bowl and what we'd get reward from.
Yeah. How interesting was that you, as just a cricketer overall, Caitlin, to play so much cricket in such a short time? And as you say, play everyone twice, because we just don't do that in England, do we?
No, we don't. Obviously for me, like it came off well and I had like a good tournament, which was really great. But I think like Till said, like with the batting, like just having to adapt. I think like one with the Astro, like your follow through's a little bit off kind of thing. And then like we're aware a lot of batters like it almost like on middle and they're gonna like take you across their legs kind of thing, give it like dirty slog sweep. So then to like almost hit that outside of off, which obviously we do like in England, but almost that kind of back of a length, almost kind of make them play you over cover, which obviously I had Tills and Lammy out there, so it came off that often like one up in the air for a catch.
And I think the other thing with European cricket is that you've got to take every ball and every game as a challenge in itself. And it showed halfway through the group stage when we did have that unfortunate loss. And of all the people to lose to, of course, we don't like losing to the Scottish at absolutely anything. But to lose them when you girls had scored 126 for 4, you must have felt comfortable, Tilly, coming off there, and you hadn't had the best innings, but 126 for 4, you must have thought we've done the job here.
It was such a great score considering like the lower scores that we'd had at the start. So I think we were all really confident. And then especially as when we first played Scotland, they'd obviously only got the lower 77 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were all really confident with the score we'd got.
And what do you think from a bowling perspective, Caitlin, in that game? What do you think was different? What went wrong, would you say? Because we all have to look at what the good and the bad things are versus all the other wins that we had.
I think if anything, I think we went into a little bit too relaxed. I think with a score like that on the board and like the games we had before that, we kind of were quite confident and almost thought that Scotland wouldn't come as hard as they did. And I think then that showed with our bowling, probably bowled more wides, like didn't quite hit the areas where we were bowling before. I think then that showed, and I think Catherine Fraser was it who kind of took advantage of that and really like punished us for it.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things there, as you say, is if we were a little bit relaxed, it just showed that in European cricket and T10 cricket in particular, it really does take just one player to just take the game away from you. And Catherine scored 46 off 14 balls. We bowled a few more wides than we'd done previously. And we weren't just quite on it. And it just shows that it's those small percentages makes all the difference in a T10 game, doesn't it, Tilly?
Yeah, it's even like one over could have such a big difference. And I think Fraser, she batted really well. Like you can't take any credit away from her. She was just seeing it like a beach ball. Like she was putting her hand through it. She hit multiple sixes in and over, where it just shows you that like one over, like we literally couldn't do anything different. She was hitting it over the boundary, like we couldn't stop it. So yeah, one over can change everything.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
When we started writing our thoughts down on paper, it opened up endless possibilities. Ideas could grow beyond the borders of the mind, and it changed the world. Somewhere along the way, we lost touch with paper, distracted by devices made for every purpose except thinking and focus. On edge, waiting for the next notification. But what if new technology didn't pull us away from paper, but brought us closer to it? Listen. That's not paper. It's the sound of the new Remarkable Paper Pro, rewriting the future. A paper tablet with a true color ink display, gentle reading light, and unheard of tactility, with digital features for taking notes, thinking, and organizing, without any distractions. Paper is about to change the world again. Get your paper tablet at remarkable.com today.
Forget the final. My favourite game was the next one, because having been beaten, we did exactly what we should always do when we've been beaten. We not only came out and won, we came out and absolutely demolished the Italians. 64 for 6 off 10 overs. By any standards in European cricket, that ain't good in the slightest. And it was lovely to see Amy Gordon taking some wickets there. You'd only taken 1 wicket, but 2 overs for 12, Caitl. You're going to be happy with that. And as a bowling squad, to restrict anyone to 64 is going to be incredible. But to see you coming out with your best buddy there and batting against the Italians, I bet you that was some fun, wasn't it, between you and Lammy, Tilly?
Yeah, it was great. Like opening with Lammy was really nice.
She hadn't had much of a bat up till then, had she?
No, I think she was a bit shocked, to be honest. She didn't mind me saying it either. So yeah, it was fun going out to bat with her. And then as it came off, winning, I don't know how many overs it took, but
4.2.
Yeah, getting the win and hitting boundaries. It was just fun out there in the middle.
I got messages from some of the European cricket family, as we call it, on the network that day. That's exactly. They could just see that you girls were having fun. It was, it's like going out and having a game with your mates for you and Lammy, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I think Lammy hit her first 6, and the cheer from the tent of the girls was great. And then Lammy obviously heard that, so she turned around and gave a little celebration to the girls. But yeah, we were having such a laugh, and I think you could see on the cameras as well, we were literally just laughing, fist bumping and all that in the middle.
And I think that's something that came across from the squad as a whole, Caitlin. Whenever the cameras, which they do with European cricket regularly, turned into the dugout as such, where you girls are sat ready to come on, there was never a dull moment for you lot, was there? You just gelled as a squad so quickly.
Yeah, I think that sums up the whole week, really. We've had an absolute blast and genuinely loved every minute. I think coming on that trip, I think I knew Ria played once or twice with Key. I'd never really come across Tilly. And then to come away now with the group of girls that we've had, it's been phenomenal. Genuinely sat in the dugouts. It's just, I laugh a minute. Sometimes JJ had to be girls, come on now, not concentrate, but let's stop laughing. But genuinely, yeah, so much fun. And I think that reflected onto the field when we were having fun and gelled as a group the way we did. We were unstoppable. We were a team. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something really special that we created.
And I wholeheartedly, I've said this before, but Logie and the coaches that he's put in place over the last couple of years, and with JJ this year, Kiara leading as a leader, and the same time with the lads squad as well. You can see that it doesn't matter whether you've never met all of these girls before. As you say, you bet bugger all, basically. It gels so quickly. And I think part of the beauty of European cricket is because the games come so fast, you've got no choice but to get on, and you're sharing rooms, you're out there very quickly on a bus. It's a proper squad team atmosphere from day one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I was Caitlin said, you don't know the people that you're meeting, but it's so nice that everyone backs each other as we did, because the support that we all give each other is great, and I think that helps bring you closer as well, because you know that if someone else is doing well, you're going to back them so much. And then likewise, if you've done well, people are going to get behind you.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just the atmosphere we created so quickly. It's
Definitely.
great.
And, well, let's move through the group. You girls come top of the group with 23 points. There was only one no result. I don't think that no result would have been a no result. When you've scored 138 for five against the Netherlands, they've got to do something to come back on that. But the rain intervened and stopped them getting anything there. So you've gone through. You've got that comfortable position going into finals day to be able to know that where you're going to be straight away. How did you prepare that night before finals day, Caitlin?
I think what we did was that the night we went out for dinner.
Did you do something different, or did you do what you'd normally do?
No, I think it was just pretty normal, really. We didn't want to get ahead of ourselves and didn't. We wanted to keep the vibe the way it was. We didn't want girls getting nervous. I think even it's quite funny, really. The day before, was it the day of? We had the morning off, so we had like a little bit more of a lie-in, like quite a chilled breakfast. Like just wanted to keep it quite relaxed. We went into like the town and we all got matching bracelets. And I said to Key, I was like, "Oh, we can wear them in the final." And Key said, "No, you can't." Like she didn't want to change a thing. She's so superstitious. So yeah, we just kept it the way we did. Just we knew the way we wanted to play. So then it was just about going out there and doing it, really.
And it's fair to say, Tilly, to say we went out there and did it in the final. You both superstarred in the final, let's be honest, as well. You started the game, Caitlin, by taking 3 for 21. By your standards, quite loose in the amount of runs that you gave there. If I remember rightly, one of the first balls went for 4 or 6. But 3 for 21 in a final, under pressure, biggest crowd of the week in the Carter Moreover, without a shadow, and by far the noisiest crowd of the week it was as well. How did that feel when you came off at 87 for 5 for the Netherlands? Did that feel good with the bowling squad?
Yeah, it did feel good. I think there was still quite a few, like we were anticipant, like we were a little bit nervous, like we completely bat us, but then it was, we didn't want to lose and we were aware of that. But I think to have them 87 for 5, was that 87 for 5?
It was, but they were 16 for 4 at one point, remember?
Yeah, I think we knew that they were going to come out hard. I think to have like, for my spell, like to take wickets was really great. But we knew that they were going to come at us. And I think that showed, like I went for more runs, say, than I had done. And it was just about time that they were going to throw everything at it, really. So I think in the field, it was just kind of taking, yeah, there was a boundary, but just trying to keep collected and know what we do and know what we do best.
87 for 5, you've got to chase that down. You know you've got 60 balls to do that in, Tilly, when you've gone into open. You went into open again with Amelia. Amelia went quite early. Amy went relatively early as well, leaving us 13 for 2. At that point, were you thinking, we've got to take our time a little bit here, or were you thinking just play the same?
I think we had a quite a confident start. Like I think me and Lammy got a fair few off the first over. So after that sort of released some pressure because we were like, right, good start. The pressure's on them now. But then, like you said, we lost 2 wickets in 2 balls, I think it was. Then it was like roles reverse, pressure's on us again. So I think for me, I sort of just tried to be like, right, I've had a decent start, like just carry on as I'm going. Then obviously Gamo came in and she was great to bat with, like we both helped each other. So I think it's about like managing the pressure because obviously it kept flipping, but it's just about like staying calm through it all. And I think I was pretty good at that because that sort of helped me stay as I normally bat, I think.
And I think that was one of the things that at the very end, everyone saw the celebrations and we saw you and Gamo in the middle of the pitch jumping into each other's arms. You could see not only how much you guys were getting on, but there was almost a sort of the experienced player with the younger player there. It just came together nicely, didn't it?
Yeah. And it's like through the week when I wasn't going so great, like Gamo was there. Like we batted quite a lot together, and through the week, like when I wasn't going so well, she was there like speaking to me and like we'd both have conversations. Then it's like as I'd got more experience with the format, I could then help her and then we'd both seen different things. Like we'd have a lot of chats to help each other out.
Caitlin, you came out as the highest wicket taker in the whole tournament. If you'd have thought even close to that before you were going in, what were you thinking afterwards? You were thinking this T10 lark's easy, or you're thinking that this is hard work, but I'm glad I've done it?
Yeah, I think the latter, really. Like to come away with that, like being the highest wicket taker was amazing. I think at the start of the week, if you told me that, I probably would have laughed in your face and been like, no, I've never played the format, like that it wouldn't have happened. I think it was tough. I think like almost putting your, what's the word, ego aside. Like I think Littler, was it, from Ireland, hit me for a massive 6.
Louise
and then
Little, yeah.
kind of, in England, if someone's hitting you for a 6 like that, you're thinking, bounce the next ball or something. But I think trying to put that aside and like take the good with the bad. Like you are going to get hit, but then to obviously come away and take wickets was really great. And I think as well with a bowler, like sometimes you bowl really well and not necessarily like take wickets and stuff. So to take wickets, especially in the final, and like contribute in that way to the team, like the team's win was really special, and like I'm really happy that I could do that.
I'm picking up on what you've just said there. Do you think that's going to change your mentality bowling in the English summer next year? If you do get smacked for 4 or 6 by somebody, do you think, is there a brain, we all know there's a bit of a brain fade if you've been smacked for 6 and, right, I'm going to bounce this one straight away because I'm not having that happen again. Do you think that might just slightly change going forward now because you've got a different mentality to it?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think especially in like when playing T20, like not necessarily like judging myself on what someone else is doing. Like if I'm bowling well and like sometimes you have to say like, yeah, she's hit like Tills has hit brilliant shots and not necessarily like bad bowling. She's just played well, I think. And then just taking like the confidence that I've like had in this competition, like I've had a good competition, keep that momentum going into the summer and knowing I can do it. And there's other players, say from Scotland, that, have contracted blah 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 and like I've performed against them.
Yeah, and I think that's key, isn't it, Tilly? You've seen players from Ireland and Scotland in particular who've been contracted around the UK, and there's a lot of contracting going on right now in the women's game to fill those squads up for next season. But you've done it against the best of the Scottish bunch and the best of the Irish there, Tilly. Your confidence going into next season must be sky high.
Yeah, exactly. And I think something I'd probably take from this is it took me a couple of innings to get going, and I think obviously there was the conditions that I had to adapt to, but it's also like probably the mentality shift that I had is probably something I need to start with rather than taking a few innings to sort of get going. So I think that's probably something that I'll take forward into the next season as well, is just like start as I mean to go on and don't just like wait for it to happen.
I've got to ask you both. We talked before you went away, and one of the questions we asked you was about which format you prefer. Now, I'm going to ask a very simple one now. Caitlin, T10 or T20?
Oh, that's a hard one. My only thing would be T20. I'm going to bowl more T10. Like I'm maxed at 2 overs, so probably T20. But being in the field, like in T10, it's class. Like you're always in the game. It's so much fun. It's a hard one, but probably T20, just because I could bowl more. But yeah. I do love the T10 format.
Tilly?
I think if you'd have asked me before, I'd have said T20, but off the back of the comp that we've just had, I'd probably now say T10, I think.
So our friends at European Cricket, I'm hearing that there might be an ECS women in England next year. You'd both be up for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Wouldn't have to ask twice.
Exactly. And do you think T10 would work in England?
Yeah,
yeah, I think so. I think after playing it now, like you just wouldn't change anything. You just sort of carry on, know how you play it, and it would work, I think.
And is that the thing that we don't play it in this country full stop, do we? It's very rare that we play it full stop. Whereas the Europeans are playing so much of this cricket, it's their norm. It's their norm to play T10 rather than T20 almost, isn't it, Caitlin? Could you see that? I'll use a great example. Could this be a game that goes into schools, for example? Because you can fit a game into a very short amount of time.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it's, half the time. Half the time. So I think, especially like you said, in schools and stuff, I think it'd be brilliant to put in, like, as well with T10, like you're always in the game. Like you can max bowl 2 overs. It's done within 10. And with the bat, you're trying to score as quickly as possible. I think like almost it's the most fun form of cricket, especially with people that might not play the game. I think it's such a great way to get people involved.
Definitely. And what about the physicality of it, Tilly? Did you find that playing so much cricket so short time, was that different to everything you've done before in terms of T20 or one day? Being in the field for 50 overs is one thing, but being in the over twice for 10 overs in the same day, how did that find?
I think because it's such a short time, you go out there and sort of give it everything you got. Mm-hmm. So it does take it out of you. And we were leaving the hotel at like 7:30 in the morning and then not getting back till 6 some days. Like it does take it out of you, especially when you've got a big gap in the middle, like you're just sort of waiting around. So it was quite hard physically and mentally. And like I was speaking to Lammy halfway through because I think the Irish team got ill and I think Lammy had caught something off them and I wasn't feeling great. So we were literally saying to each other, like, because we've played a 3-dayer before, we were literally like, we feel like this is as tough as a 3-dayer and we were only playing like 10 overs. It's like it does take it out of you. And it was just sort of how we responded and sort of tried to put that aside and just sort of put everything you've got into the T10.
But besides that, when you're out in Cartama and obviously staying at Sunset Beach, the organisation that everyone putting around that, I've both heard you comment on it, which is really interesting for newbies. It's quite a setup, isn't it, what they've got going on there, Caitlin?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like I think as well, like the way they've made it so like professionalized within the T10. Like we'd have dinner with all the teams, breakfast with the teams. We knew where we were. Like we'd have media in the evening. We'd have our like off time. I think it was amazing. And then like within that, like yeah, our schedule was so busy, but they also made sure like we had downtime and like we were able to go and like swim in the sea and stuff to recover. Like I thought it was brilliant.
Recovery, Tilly. So let's talk about recovery. You win on the Friday night. I'm not going to say any more because this is an audio podcast going out, but you had a good time. Did you all swim on the Saturday morning to recover?
No, we didn't make it.
You weren't bothered about recovery the next day.
We didn't make it to the sea on Saturday, no.
But a good night was had by all to celebrate.
Yeah, we celebrated well in St Andrews, I think it's called.
Yeah, and I think what I find funny is that each English team that's been out there, whether it be the lads in the ECC or the clubs who've been out there in the European Cricket League, there's always a great video on the coach coming back. Because if you've won that coach journey back to the hotel, that's got to be up there with some of the best coach journeys you've ever done.
Yeah, it was great. Like we did have to share the bus with Netherlands, but they were great sport. Like they were singing with us, dancing and everything.
Did you give them a choice?
No, I don't think so, to be honest. I've had to be fair. But yeah, like we had the speaks on, everyone was singing. Like the vibe was great. Like we just won. Celebrations were like just beginning.
It's quite unique, that, Caitlin. You mustn't have been around anything like that before.
No, definitely not. And I think like the group, as we've said, like we gelled so well, and I think then to have finished the competition on such a high, like everyone was in such good spirits. It really started like from the last ball until he hit for 4 till whatever time. It was amazing.
Definitely. But yeah, your memories are going to last forever. You know, the WhatsApp group's probably going to go on forever because that's what happens with these things, definitely. But there's always a negative as well, though, Caitlin. Okay, so yeah, I did ask the boys this question. I'm going to ask the same to you. Yeah, who did you share with when you were out there?
I shared with Wheels and Ray.
Okay, dead simple question. Would you share with those two again, or would you choose someone else?
No, I'd share with them again. Those two, though, they sleep a lot later than me. So sometimes they'd be chatting and I'd be like nodding off, bless them. But no, we got on really, really well. And they've got me addicted to this game on my phone as well. But no, we got on really, really well. And I was really glad to be sharing with them. And it was nice. Like I'd played a lot against in the circuit kind of thing, but I'd never really had the opportunity to be friends with them.
Spend time with them, yeah.
Yeah, spent obviously a lot of time with them, and yeah, we gelled really well, and like 2 of my closest mates, and we're still like messaging all the while and stuff and just laughing about things that have happened throughout the tour.
And Tilly, I don't know, but I'm guessing that you shared with Lammy, that'd be one of them.
Yeah, I shared with Lammy and Jazz.
And same question to you. Would you or wouldn't you share with them again?
Yeah, I would. Like I don't know how she does it, but when Jazz's head hits the pillow, she's asleep. Like it's a talent. I don't know how she does it. I'm quite jealous, but we had great fun in our room. The girls referred to me and Lammy as the Lankies because we're both playing at Lancashire.
Not wrong with that.
Yeah. So Jazz was kind of outnumbered by us, but we all got on. I'd think we'd played against Jazz, like we didn't know her, but we'd come across her. So yeah, it was like nice getting to know her, and she's got great stories to tell.
Even in her sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, but you two are far too nice, right? Caitlin, who would you not want to share a room with when you go away next time with them?
Oh,
time to throw someone under a bus, please.
I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think.
And if you say there's no one, I am going to push it back and say to you, we don't believe you.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Maybe Jazz, if Jazz has sleep talked throughout the tournament.
Oh my god, yeah, she slept talks. That was funny.
Yeah. Maybe not Jazz if I didn't want to get woken up in the night and scared to hear her screaming in the sleep, but I couldn't really put a finger on anyone.
Well, Tilly's had that experience now. Tilly's had that experience with Lammy. So yourself, Tilly, who would you not want to be anywhere near?
I really don't know. I think sometimes I do like my downtime, and if I want to go to bed, I just want to go to bed. So if you say Wheels and Ria were chatting a lot, maybe them too, but they're great people, so I would like to. But
let me make this an easier question. Who are you looking forward to seeing on the circuit next year, Tilly? You know, you're going to meet and play against a lot of these girls at some point next year. And that's going to be a different experience compared to meeting them previously. Who have you got a different view of now and thought, they're a really good player, better than I thought, for example?
That's a hard question as well. I think like I'd really like to see all the girls again. Like we got on very well. I think there was a little bond between me and Gamo. We sort of had nicknames, Big Cook, Little Cook. And yeah, she's like such an interesting person. She's also got great stories and she's also very like smart and so probably Gamo, I'd say.
And yourself, Caitl, who are you looking forward to coming across and thinking, can't wait to bowl at you?
There's not many of them that I want to bowl at from everyone's performance. I've never really come across Gordo much, but I thought she had a really good tournament. So I think it'd be nice to bowl at her and see how I get on there in the summer. But no, like honestly, all the girls like are from like an off-field point of view, all of them.
Give a shout while we can, Tilly, to JJ. First time you met your coach, I think, probably when you got to the airport. How important was that coach to have around?
I think it was really important, like how JJ sort of went around coaching us, because obviously we hadn't all met before and all played together before. So how she went about that was great. Like we started the week sharing some like values and sort of things that we wanted to translate across into our tournament. So sort of like getting the law down with that straight away was good. And then sort of how we went about our prep, and then how like after our loss we came together and sort of went back out and how we played. It was really good.
And I've got to ask the same question to you, Caitlin, but not about JJ. What about your stand-in team manager, Mr. Ponting? Difficult job for him to step in and do that, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was tough for him, I think, as well. Like Logie left at quite an important time of the tournament. Like obviously, like he had to go, but like for Elliot to step in at that point, I think he did really well. Like obviously we won, and the momentum that we had continued, and I think he was really clear with us as well, like what he wanted from us. He wanted to continue with what the like kind of not ground rules.
He wanted content. Come on, he wanted content.
Yeah, yeah. Well, throughout the week, we had a lot of content with our Kibber and all the sponsors, which were great. But yeah, sometimes at dinner, Elliot's like, "Oh, can I get some content?" I'm like, "Elliot, please let me eat my rice." But no, it was really good, and I think he did really well, like finding the balance between like being a media, then stepping in, and then also being someone that I could like turn to and talk to about my bowling. Like obviously he's been there with the men, so seen the competition a lot. So like for me, I could like turn to him and be like, "Oh, like what can I do that has like been done well with the men, and like what have I done kind of wrong there when I got hit for six or something kind of thing." But no, I think he was a really nice asset to have with the team, and like was also part of the reason why we gelled so well.
I've got to ask about the other superstar in the squad, the new commentary superstar, Libby. Did anyone else put their hand up, Tilly, or was Libby the only one who said, "I'll go and do it"?
I don't think anyone put their hand up, but I think the girls actually surprised Libby doing it, because Rhea knew that Libby really wanted to go into commentary and go and do it. So I think she said something like, "Oh, Libby, there's a tour of the commentary box going on."
A tour?
We went up to the box and we're like, "Oh, Libby, look at this!" Like,
go and have a look, Libby. Like, go and have a look. So she was, "Oh yeah, all right, I'm coming." And then she went up and she was great. Like she spoke so well, and yeah, she loved it as well.
She did, and I think it's great experience for you ladies to be around that whole organisation at European Cricket, because as you say, that they're a professional outfit, the way they go about it. There's no two ways. But as well as being a professional outfit, they still have that personal touch. You know, you can get to talk to commentators and the people who are around it, and it's not just like being at Old Trafford and you put in a dressing room and you don't go and do anything else. It's completely different, isn't it, Caitlin?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was really impressed actually, like with the commentary. Like I heard that obviously like there is commentary, but like Mr. Maximo like came up and spoke to us and like often took the mick out of stuff that we'd done wrong and stuff. But like it was nice to have that like interaction with them, and like they'd speak to us.
Vinny took the mick out to you?
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to throw back at him? Because I'm more than happy to do so.
I'd like to see him try. Yeah, he came up to me and was like, "Oh, like took the mick out of my fielding or something," and I was like, "Oh, right, okay." Never spoke to you before, but that's how it is.
He's actually a pretty darn good wicketkeeper.
Oh, really?
He is. But actually, I would like to see you bowl to him now, because that'd be quite interesting next time. And without a doubt, you'll be over in England in 2025, so we might have to set that up.
Yeah.
Because that'd be quite, and he'd love that, because he he came over to England to play in a charity match with Hornchurch. I think it was 18 months ago, and he can play a bit, can Vinny? But not just Vinny, but you got Rico, and Tina was a superstar in commentary. Having Tina up there for you girls commentating, I thought was absolutely magnificent. So regularly having a lady there rather than just the two blokes who were always there, and the knowledge of cricket that they've all got was phenomenal, I thought, Tilly.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, having Tina, a female, and obviously she can relate to us, was great. Someone more.
Although she does play for the wrong country, we know that.
I know, yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. Sorry, Tina, but you've got to change that allegiance at some point, definitely. Looking back then, Caitlin, coming towards the end of this chat, what's your sort of number one learning for yourself personally going into this year and this season? When are you back training?
6th, I think.
Next week you're back training for those. We're recording this on the 2nd of January, everyone. But what's your learnings for yourself to go forward with?
I think just back myself and my ability. I think sometimes especially as a bowler, it's hard to sometimes back yourself and know that I can sometimes do it. And I think this competition showed me that I can do it, and just to back myself and back the skills that I know I can do, and go out there with a smile on my face and just know what I do and know I do it well. And
yourself, Tilly, you've already talked about backing yourself as well. Is there anything else that you would take forward going into this season in Staffordshire playing for Porthill, or whether it be for Lancashire?
Yeah, I think like I said before, just start as a mean to go on. Like Caitlin said, just backing myself. Also just play with a smile, enjoy it, because when you're enjoying it, you're playing your best cricket.
Well, without a doubt, ladies, the one thing that you lot never stopped doing was smiling. And it made such a pleasure to be able to watch and support you from back here in the UK, and to put content out and help Elliot and the guys with stuff there. It looked, I'm not going to say a laugh a minute because that's the wrong way to put it, but it looked as a smile a minute, wasn't it? All the way through. And you can't wait to get back out there by the sounds of it, Caitlin.
No, genuinely, one of the best weeks. I couldn't have asked for better. I've enjoyed every minute, and yeah, I can't wait to see all the girls, when we play them and stuff. We've just gelled so well as a team, and I just, really excited for the season now. I think, to play such enjoyable cricket, it's made me want to start the season, get on with it. I think in the winter sometimes it's just training constantly, but to have a tournament and to put your skills out there and test against other players from obviously other countries, it was really great. So yeah, really excited for the season now. Well,
from myself and the rest of the listeners, we can say that the best word possible, which is congratulations. You retained the European Championship. You do know you're not allowed back in the country if you don't retain it, by the way. But you retained it, and you retained it well. You girls were fantastic. The squad looked great. Everyone took part at some point, didn't they? You've already mentioned that, Tilly. And it was a great way to end the year for you girls, with a gold medal around your neck, basically, Tilly.
Yeah, it was, I don't think it sunk in at first, but then the celebrations and winning together was great. So yeah, getting the win was mega.
Absolutely. Hey, great to talk to you two girls, and absolute pleasure, as I say, supporting you. We'll be keeping an eye on what you all do in the coming season, whether it be for Lancashire, whether it be Porthill down the road from me, or whether it be playing in the NCCA stuff as well. So thanks for your time. I know it's early on the 2nd of January, and we're getting this done very, very quickly, and look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.